Truth be known, I know about you. I have a very good friend sitting in the front row, Dr. Hickey Klein. And Dr. Klein comes to my family hospice. And I was fortunate in the Santa Kedushin at two of my son's weddings. And when I look out the crowd at Dr. Santa Kedushin, and I see Dr. Klein shaking away saying, "Tell him," I feel very comforted. So it's a swiss to meet you. I know that the word NEFESH aptly describes what you're all about. You're following NEFESH. The people that care about the cause. With 100 customers in full regalia that resulted in the judge looks at the crowd and the Rabbi and pulls the counsel to the bench. He says to the prosecutor and the defense attorney, "This will not work. How are we going to communicate with this man?" 2-hour court-ordered recess to be able to find a translator for the court. 2 hours later, the court appointed the translator, stands next to the Rebbe. The judge motions for the Rebbe to begin his testimony. The translator is ready to translate. Rebbe says, "Your Honor, I have a far greater command of the English language than you do. You judge a man by his religious garb, his religiosity. This is the land of religious freedom and liberty. I refuse to testify." And he sits down. And everyone is squirming in their seats. The judge is shamefaced. The jurors don't know what to do. All of a sudden, the translator stands up and he says, "Der Rebbe hat gesagt, das ist Freiheit, geht gesagt Neighbors." The Rebbe says, "This is religious freedom, he's not testifying." In my line of work, we call this a Maisa Shalvoy. Never happened. But isn't that the way we are? Living in our society as insulated as we are to Torah, the mitzvahs, and Shemayim, and Chesed. We judge people. So quick to judge them, judge their actions. And you're a group of people that see beneath the surface. I encourage, I beg, have rabbinic mentors as well, which I'm sure many of you do. It could be a Rebbe, it could be a Rav, a Rosh Yeshiva, a Paisik. Then be plugged into the source because you are on the front line. Let me tell you who you are. I'm going to introduce you to yourselves because you don't even know who you are. By the way, I apologize for sitting. Avodah Zatzal, Rav Shiva Chaim Oleg once spoke to an August group of Machanchim, and he said, shouldn't be standing and pontificating and sitting and learning. So we're going to learn up the sunnah of what we do. Not for a living, what you do for life. The bane of our society is multitasking. A malach cannot multitask. One job, one mandate, focuses only on that task at hand. We do so many things at the same time. Jack of all trades and master of none. Avraham Avinu is visited by three malachim. One, l'rabbeis es Sarah to heal Sarah. The other, l'rabbeis Abraham to heal Abraham Avinu. The second, l'vaser Sarah, let her know she's having a child. And the third, destroy Stamdam and the question is, what is the Malach Gabriel doing by Abraham Avinu? He should have gone straight to Stamdam and destroyed it. Stop in the more of a movie. What's he doing by Abraham? Chazal teach us, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, he said, Nasa Adam b'tzalmeinu kibnuseinu. Let us create man in our image. It's a great way of getting people engaged, involve them in the process, listen to their ideas, act on their suggestions in the corporate world and a family. The first group of Malachim said, these hallowed words are said on the Yom Kippur. What is man? The frailty of the human condition. No reason to even mention him. But his response was to incinerate that first group of Malachim. The second group, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, Nas Adam b'tzalmeinu kibnuseinu. Again, Mo eno ish kisis gerena, but this gerena is no tachlis, no purpose. They were incinerated. The third group, when Hashem said, Nas Adam b'tzalmeinu kibnuseinu, remained silent. And Chazal say what exactly their end was. The world was created. But every single day, the angels of destruction, Malachei Chabola, go up to Shemayim, and they tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, destroy the world. There's no purpose for creation. Look at the thievery, the thuggery, the debauchery, the immorality. Since 1945, there's been an average of 30 wars and skirmishes in the world. What's going on right now? The world on the brink of Chas v'Sholom, a terrible, terrible world war, Chas v'Sholom. Say the Malachei Chabola, destroy the whole world, there's no tachlis to it. Terrorism, thievery. If Gabriel would have gone straight to stay on earth, the Kodesh Baruch Hu would have Gabriel come back and say, destroy the whole world. Hashem tells me, take that atonement and address. Stop off in Chorah. He's a Jew named Abraham. Zeres can go from a mention of a person can accomplish in life. Chesed, monotheism, bringing people down to Hashem, creating a society of human beings. Now tell me. I guarantee you right now, the Malachim say what's going on in the Ukraine, all over the world, the atrocities, destroy the world. Hashem says, take down an address. Parsippany Hotel, a group of educated professionals, masks of the feet, collectively have thousands and thousands and thousands, millions of hours of successful interaction with people, building people up. What are they doing in the waning hours of the conference? Come to him in the chizuk v'izuk to learn Torah together. Now tell me about the rest of the world. You're going to go back and see clients, interact with people. Those in the neighborhood, those in California, those from around the world. Is that the same? We bathe together with NEFESH, with people that really care about clients. Just like yourselves. You can really be proud of what you want, what you accomplish. And Uncle Mashiach and Gary used to talk about mitzvah bracha. Everybody should have nachas, and you should have nachas for yourself. So I tell you, you should have nachas for yourselves. Realize what you're accomplishing, and it's not just a moment, or 50 years, it's the ability to help somebody, to cause somebody to smile. The moment Titus in the basement Aleph says, when breaking was B'Shubat Be'Levis, it was the marketplace of Levis. And he encountered Eliyahu Navi, who lied to the prophet, he was his Chabrusa. And he asked him, who in this marketplace is better than Lambo? Who's living in the world to come here and now? And he tells him this fellow, and he describes in detail what the person does. He's a man who goes into the prisons and champions the cause of the Jewish women, protecting them from being violent. And then he says, Muhammad, these two. But no description is given. Well, you all know he disappears. The great sage looks over and says, what's your job? Shida. Rebbe, a doctor, a psychologist, a therapist, psychiatrist, what exactly do you do? You started a hook of Lashon. It was very surprising. Last thing you think. But we are comedians. When we see that people are depressed, we cheer them up. Show them by his problems, we get the husband and wife to lift themselves. Says Rashi, Smeichim u'mesamchem v'le'yot. We're happy, make other people happy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not happy and content with what you're doing, you can't make anybody happy. Clown is crying on the inside is the most sad thing. Smeichim, you have to be happy with others happy. The question is, the end of the question, Smeichim u'mesamchem v'le'yot. We make people happy. What do you think? They had a comedy club for pets. Fido was laughing. Birds are chirping. And Rory left. Of course, you cheer up. The Samchem. What kind of Tanakh said? When a person is depressed, it's not a bench. When you cheer somebody up, so you go back to the bench. Smeichim and the Samchem. That's the first thing to realize. Tell people, depressed, give them back their life. The mention, the Maharsha says something even more unbelievable. He quotes the Gemara that says, Kloini Rishi, Kloini Yadi. When your arm hurts, says Hashem, my heart hurts. When your head hurts, my head hurts. Says the Maharsha, when a Jew is depressed, Kav Yachal, so to speak, Hashem is depressed. And when you cheer up another Jew, you're cheering up HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's a better level. To be able to cheer up another Jew is an unbelievable thing. So the art of communication, Ruach Ma'mallah, that separates man from beast. The art of Nishmas and Kim, that's the ability to communicate. Everybody has the ability, the question is the art, to hear someone else, to process, to grow with. That's your job. To be good listeners. To teach others to be good listeners. Everybody discusses the trauma of the pandemic. Maybe we're not even post-pandemic yet. We'll just turn upside down. Critical measures for critical times. I had a Rabbi. Oh, not good. I'm showing this out. That's not what she would call it. Place that 35 years ago, not yesterday, 35 years ago, a fellow came to him and said, a child, it's not the same way it used to be. There's no interest in Yiddishkeit, interest in family and friends and personal relationships. I'm losing it. He tells us from his own, you know, I have a chinuch. I don't know what to do. I want to ease up on him. What am I supposed to do? I have to be mechanachim. There's a chiyuv. There's a rice to mechanach each child. The man is Yitzhak, his banav acharov. That's how Rabbi Milo that he educated his children. So I feel terrible because I don't want to do what I'm doing to, but I have no choice. I'm a chiyuv of chinuch. So Reb Shlomo Zalman, what happens if I would paskin for you that you have a tour from him? He takes out a piece of paper and he writes to the fellow, Ploini ben Ploini is putter from being mechanech his child, and he writes his child's name. The fellow takes the paper, walks to the door. Turns out, no, bring back the paper, please. He crosses it out. Instead of writing putter, he writes Osir. It's Osir that the mechanech his son. You hear Reb Shlomo Zalman's guidance? He's going to talk to the man and explain to him, don't worry about chinuch. It's Osir for you to educate each other. And sometimes you have to tell a parent, it's Osir for you to educate each other. We're not taking over from the parent. Not the Rabbanim, not the Rabbeim, not the Moros, not the psychologists, not the therapists. We're enabling them. But sometimes the enabling them to tell them, back off. You don't have the right. 35 years ago, the pandemic wasn't a nightmare. It's awesome to be mechanech. I saw a father who came to a Rabbi, and he said he knows that you can't be mechanech in a negative way. So his chinuch is always in a positive, and he's losing his child. He says, describe to me your Shabbos. Well, my son is very not interested in participating so much in Kiddush. Our minute is to stand. And he decides to sit. So I never tell him you have to stand. I say it a nice way. Whoever doesn't stand by Kiddush doesn't get to drink with us. So my son gets up, looks up to the window. Doesn't really want to be involved. He knows it's the stand. So I say lovingly, in front of my sons-in-law, my daughters-in-law, the whole family, whoever doesn't stand at the table for Kiddush doesn't get to drink the water. Is that chinuch? That's it. You know, sometimes a parent talks to a child, and the child looks down and says, look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me. What am I, spilling beer? The child is trying to save face. The child is embarrassed. What's that little square room? You're a small baby. It's many years. She said a scene in Cleveland, a Talmud wine and a purse. It's a prominent rabbi in Cleveland. It was a Sima Shas, the entire shul were in Shas and Shishas Mishnah. Wife told me an amazing thing. His mother takes away his skin. Brought him squirming to school at the age of 2.5. Picked him up, crying. She thrust him in her hands. Bela, it's all yours. I told me from that moment she felt that this moment was all hers. But that's the problem. Well, the first thing she did, she picked up this little dog iron, it's now good. Put him in a fire pit. Talk to him. Calm him down. You know, we talk about island. But an adult talks to a child, he's talking to a child, principal, parent, grandfather, therapist. So a really nice person squats down, eye level, and looks at the child. Actually, pick up the child. That's what we have to do. None of this is easy. It's so rewarding. Save one child's day, one family's sanity. And this is uncharted waters, ladies and gentlemen. You may have tremendous credentials. I know many of you are highly educated. You teach others. It's like Rabbis. Some Sefer says, what is it like crossing the ocean? Every ship next to the other side, but no one ship in front. That's what your job is all about. Each client, each person, each family, crossing the ocean. To make your own way. to tell you what your job is. And maybe what your job has to be. We have a mitzvah called Zechiras Mechias Hamolech, which is a total and complete enigma. Remember Amalek? To forget that. No Amaleki archaeological digs, no artifacts, destroy, eradicate completely. But don't forget. Remember, don't forget. We're the only ones who know about Amalek. 10 generations, women and Amalek, nothing to talk about. How do you understand Amalek? Amalek went to war with no rationale, no rhyme or reason. It's like Hitler, the Nazis, in the waiting months of the war, when they needed those trains to transport wounded soldiers from the Russian front, and they used them to transport 1 million Jews, Bulgarian Jews, to Auschwitz. I didn't get it. When the war that destroyed the Jews, cultivate Einstein, hydrogen bomb, blow up the world, and you're the master for the Jews. You understand the rationale of Amalek. And even Absiyoy, to destroy yourself in the process, scolding yourself for the Ambatia, to cool it off for others, coming to Semites. We can't be honest. There's no sheer, there's no seichel. No territorial gain, no revenge. No, something called the Geneva Convention. It's a conventional way of going to the war. Geneva Convention works with people that are conventional. You have a crazy individual that runs out of bullets and takes a knife, cuts off his arm, uses a club to kick it. Secret Service is trained to protect the president against anyone who tries to harm him. If the man is not willing to get killed, since they cannot protect him, they will also. Rabbi Multiple gives the word, Rabbi Multiple gives that self said, Amalek is a contraction of Omel Kuf. That's all he said. He's saying to Omel Kuf, diligent, learning, learning, reviewing, understanding. You know, Chazal say, based on the pasuk they love we saw when defeated, they waged the war with Christ, so defeated, it's not just a geographic location. Refidim is rough, Gedeim Shekisol better, speaking. That's all we don't know what area. Chazal say, there's no comparison, learning a Black Gemara 100 times and 100. Some say that 101st time is as if you learned it another 100 times. The question is why? 100, 101. Why not 63 and 64? Why not 99 and 100? What's the significance of learning something 101st time? 100 is full. 100 is limitation. I've learned Second Shabbos 100 times, I'm on to something else. I reviewed the case 100 times, I'm finished. 101 says there's no full, there's no shear, there's no restriction. I keep on going. And it starts with the first Mishnah you learn the Eva creation. The first fellow says, I'm going to learn 100 times. The other one says, as long as Hashem gives me years, time, faculties, mayach, koyach with the mayach, I'm going to keep on learning. That's a total difference. That's what was lacking by Collins. It's a sense of complacency. Accomplish, move on to something else. So Amalek took what was lacking in Klal Yisrael and went to war, using them the Malam and Ashir, the Malam and Ashir, meet it today, measure. Along the Shachal Rabbis, everyone's myself. Amalek took what was lacking by Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael was lacking the Malam and Ashir, Mamad Bol. Go beyond the hour, beyond the time.
I know so many of you keep on doing and hurting and working and trying to fix the problem and learning about the people. How many times I've been consulted off the record by psychologists, psychiatrists about different people, not on the dollar, not on the hour. That's the Malam and Akil, Malam and Ashir, and that's what's lacking. So Amalek went to attack, they were all proof, that's what Klal Yisrael was holding. And they went to war, the Malam and Ashir, Malam and Akil. Mechias Amalek is the Mechia eradicating complacency. Sense of accomplishment. Been there, done that. It's time for the younger people to take over. The person's only 30 years old, they're put down. You're all young. There's so much you can accomplish. Some of it needs to eradicate the sense of complacency and limitations that we place on ourselves. Forget about the structure. It's out of the box. Necessarily in the mode of healing process in your own heart. Go sleep at night sometimes. Realize. Sort of steps. Many people have. What are child? What do you do? How do you do this? Sleep at night. Basically. I throw up the keys. Observation. You take it over now. Take it back. What's the back? Think of something. Think of something. Oh, the child. Take it back in the morning. You gotta do the same thing. Because if you don't do the same thing, you're gonna get burnt out. This is a conflict. You're trying to the best of your ability to find a solution to help people. And we're living in a perfect world of instant gratification. 70% the solution is great. 10% is great. I was walking down the street. Guess what I was doing? The answer is longer than 30 seconds. Show everything's great. Stop telling about a flat tire. Okay, we should never ask the question. We shouldn't go by the street and you get up in the morning. You have to go to the coast. Why? Because you can't solve this problem. Who says you have to solve this problem? No. It's pathetic. It's the road. More markets on that problem big sense. Come to show you Sharin Shaharabo. Come and become as the terrible and come. They stand for the terrible, not for a great person. Because the terrible says you get 40 lashes. Tom said 31. And the Ostrovs are good. Take away a lash from the Jew. Don't I was a Rabbi because I was busy with that this and this and I'm on this and what about those divorcees out there? They have some kind of plague. You come to me and tell me they were told already by the shamas are not more scared and get a cash. This disease called divorce. That's what they do more than ever. Who's taking their kids to shul? They're scared, so they challenge them. So much we can do. Take away me. Here's my cash. The phone is up, it's nice and come on. Take away a lash, you're entirely total personality. Don't focus on. I don't want to scare anybody, but machines from the corners. Introduce myself. Just if you want to talk to such normal machine comes. Nice and other things, fine. What Mark says, Lief is donkey hide, braided with soft calfskin. The Shliach Tzibur comes down, and spread eagle out over you. And he gives him a lash with all his strength. After 3 lashes, the fellow forgets his name. After 9 lashes, he doesn't know what planet is. So what have you accomplished? Thank you, Rabbi. Instead of 40, I get 39. Back is 4, I can't walk for a year. If you take away a little pain, you account for it. Solve the problem. You don't come to a final solution. You just take away a little pain. Every one of you, men and sharing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, people are depressed. And you're doing it b'malav and ashir. In our world, to be successful at your craft, there's no time clock. There's no hourglass. It's b'malav and ashir, b'malav and I focus the problems that we have today. All b'malav and ashir. Train us for this. For the Rabbanis, 32 years. For the Rabbanis. There was a chalitza recently. Brother passed away. One of someone changed. And so we did chalitza, special shoe to release his sister-in-law to be married. They wanted me to come. There's a concept of publicizing or 5-day events, 3. I didn't go, you know why? Because there's 3 about the children. This kid's supposed to feel that the mother has to do chalitza. That's not halach. That is not halach. It's a sensitivity. And if they call it shebang, and the fellow down to my shoe and I apologize for why you go to that's what I do. It's because it's got a couple of adopted kids that don't even know what the nice it's done. I should go ahead. What do you do with a 40-year-old single, 45-year-old single girl? I had her my shir. In your tefillah, Sandy sometimes came to at the shul. Your tefillah every week before the bed there, get the shir. She sat with her mother. She was 45 years old. She wasn't married. She wanted to go to Lisa's wedding. She's supposed to do Lisa's making a bris. She has to go to Lisa's bris. What table do you put them at? Put them with the girls, 18, unmarried. Put them with the grandmothers. What do you put them? This continues in every gamut of life. What about people who are incarcerated in prison? What about shidduchim? How do you deal with shidduchim? Telling the truth, but being galvanized to be excited. And sometimes you have to bunt and say, I don't really know the story. Every single issue has become competitive in a hurry up world, multitasking, doing so much with everybody, doing nothing with it. That's where you come in. That's where you come in with your heart. Not about your expertise, with your heart. Just show that you care and love people. Change their lives. Let me give you a story that happened. I have a friend of mine who's a Rebbe Baruch. That's right. Sure, I also have Hasidic Rebbe friends. And his sister is a very well-known Rebbe, Hasidic Rebbe. One day, a 5th grade Rebbe is approached by a young man, a credit fellow. And he says to him, Rabbi, I'm 28 years old, and because of you, I finished Shas twice with the Gemara Rashi Tosfos Rosh Hashanah, written Bechidus tests, never a grade less than 95, normally 100, and it's all because of him. Do you remember the kid? Rabbi, went from 4th to 5th. That side, kids will fail the tests. The whole company now. Rabbi, it's a great test. It's a failed grade. It's the circle. The failed grade with a red marker. Right inside Nechshal, which means he's failed. Has to be sent to the parents. Parents have to both sign the failed paper and return it, or the child can't come back to the class. So maybe I tried so hard. I listened, I could never pass a test on me. Highest grade was like 61, 53, 49, 61. And dutifully, the Rebbe would mark the paper and we'd write Nechshal in a red mark. Then, in a black pen, wrote inside the following words: we can't. Only Hashem myself and your son know how much effort, how he tried to study this. Every week, my parents would get the grade. Every week, they'd open the paper. Every week, my heart would fall. Every week, I saw from a distance the red mark. Then, my parents would read inside what she wrote. But I need, because no one kiss me, and they told me, Rabbi, because you finished Shas twice, or I should taste this Rosh nine, never less than 95, and generally 100 on the test. You could write in a shower. You could follow the rules. Then you could write how the words work. I have a problem. I don't have a clock. And Dr. Newell was so kind to invite me, told me to sleep for an hour. But he's not here. The one factor is not really helping me. So I'll continue a little bit, but really, if it gets out of hand, just let me know. And so that probably means not 5 minutes left, that means to keep on rolling. That's you know, because something called tremor and this, all that stuff. Says the Gemara in Soite, Dafir Al Komet Beis, Bishar Noshim Sitkani and Shavo Yisrael, Nigel of Yisrael in Israel. In the merit of the righteous women of Klal Yisrael, Klal Yisrael left Israel. And the Gemara starts telling a story. Women of Klal Yisrael went to the Mayan to fetch a pail of water. Pulled out the water, had fish everywhere, miraculously. They warmed up the water, cooked up the fish, gave it to the husbands to eat. Anointed themselves, presented themselves, lived with their husbands. 9 months later, gave birth to babies and abandoned them in the forest. Because this was the epoch of Kol HaBen HaYeloi L'Eretz Shtichua. They didn't want to see their children massacred in front of their eyes. So they basically abandoned their babies under the Arba Machprais. And the Malachim came from Shamayim, cleaned off the babies from the fluid of birth, gave them a comb of honey and a comb of oil to eat. And the Egyptians started coming, so they put them in the ground. The Egyptians came with plows to churn up those Jewish children, reminiscent of the Nazis. And it would pull further and further into the bowels of the earth. And the Gemara brings psukim on each one of these activities of the Malachim. Then says at the very end, the Malachim took care of them and they were united with their parents at Kriyas Yamsuf. The question is, what did the ladies do? They gave the husbands lunch. That's very nice. I've been married many years. Doesn't happen. My teachers told me there's no lunch. One lunch, fed themselves. Abandoned the children of Pretoria and Sarmash's companies. Those bothered by this, one Rabbi Yashin said something. He was a great psychologist and psychiatrist. As was Rabbi Salman, as was Rabbi Moshe. I think hundreds of stories of the guidance of Chachmei Yisrael. Look at the Gemara in Soiti based now. Vayelech ish mi beis Levi v'ikav bas Levi. Amram took Bas Levi, took Yocheved as a wife. This was not the first time. Eichen Olach was he coming from? Says the Gemara, Amram says, L'shov Onu Amelin, we're wasting our time having babies, being married. There's infanticide, they're killing our children. Omad v'giresh ishta, he stood up and he divorced his wife. Omdu kulam v'girshim sheseyach, 600,000 men divorced their wives. He tried to make. Oh, Rabbi Lief, Rabbi Rise with the Boston wives, that's look around. Why did I shut up? All of Klal Yisrael got up in the Boston wives, that's what happened when I did it. His daughter Miriam was 5 years old. See, Russell Kosher Shabbat, because Parai, like goes to the heart. You only decree against the men. Boys. Because there is some girls, maybe not girls. Alright. Maybe the consider will take place, maybe it won't. You sure by divorcing your wife and only wives apply, so be your children. Alright, let go say Elohim said, look, there is going to what's that? There is going for this one, look, there is this one. Next says Rashi, Rashi. Shenai Lodim. They're born. Umesim and they die. Zeichel Elohim. Baby is born for a nanosecond in this world, guaranteed portion. Let's put the two words together. Russians and communists will hunt us like animals. They have babies. What is mother? Mother is when you pregnancy, baby on your chest. Stick out your finger, maybe close his hand around it. It's the bris, it's the option, it's the bust, it's the violence. It's walking your baby down the aisle. Mother is when your baby has a baby. And these nations and countries are willing to forego all of that to secure the child. That's what nations and countries are always have their eye. Isn't that what we're about? How will this relationship affect my child? How the school, this camp, this friendship, this gadget, this technology, this education, how is it going to affect them? You have your eyes on the level. You compliment parents and grandparents and the brother, the baby, the siblings. But your eyes on the level. How will this decision psychologically, medically will affect the child above? Because I'm saying they have to affect the above. And that's why Mashiach is around the corner. Because we have an august group of trained professionals, very motivated, very inspired, very successful what they do. Their eyes. So Kabbalah coming down to say Hashem destroyed the world, he says, check out person. A room full of people. I noticed the people. That's the words. There's one of the rabbits. But still here. It's a right. Let me end with a story. I think we have to do what you got. About a little late. And now. In this hotel, about 15 years ago, I was invited to come with my Rebbe and my little boy Sully at the time. For Shabbos. It was called Shabbos Hanagidim. The visions of Rabbi Yisrael. Good, ask for speaker, they're for me. Now, I didn't know if I wanted my kid to be the chassid, but to be in the snag, I turned him into the snag after the Shabbos. But we had a wonderful Shabbos sitting next to Rebbe, Shirayim, the whole deal. I spoke about Yush, Knack, Chasdesh. So I Shabbos, my son's tefillahs were answered because I spoke, and then some kid pulled the fire alarm. So basically, everybody left the wall. We had a few line out to go home. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway. Let me tell you what a chassid Rabbi Yisrael is. Some philosophy could have come up with this. There's a knock at the door. See the fella comes in. Rebbe, ich mach chassid and I'm knocking my door. I need a bracha. This is my beautiful bracha on Aaron office. This is Rabbi. I need a much stronger bracha. Unfortunately, stands by this. She's the assignment.
do the bracha for cows and so on. It's a beautiful bracha in a sense. Right if the chasana comes straight to me. Rabbi, it's 5 o'clock in the morning after the mitzvah comes straight to me. By the way, anyone who helping people here in Shidduchim, I tell my people, go to Minneapolis, what are you looking for in a Shidduch? One thing, you say good night to your daughter at 2 o'clock in the morning after the chasana is over, she's the way it is. That's a big amount, small amount, less money, Kelvin, just be a mention, nice person, sweet, everything, sweet. That's it. Back to the story positions. But at 5 o'clock in the morning, come straight from the chasana. 6 months later, he's knocking on the door, 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's the chasana, strangled himself, coming from his daughter's wedding. And the Rebbe was ready. She had cow, she had drinks, cakes. Sit down, Chaim. Rebbe says to him, who was the Masada Kedusha that you were in the wedding? Oh. Rebbe like that. You gotta start the bracha whenever you're invited. Who read the Ksut? Who got bracha achrit? How was the band? People stayed for 3 dances. They stayed in the mitzvah towns. The relatives coming from out of town, from America. Was the food good? Were the flowers nice? He's grilling them a half an hour on this wedding. He answers the questions. The man goes to daven Vasik and Shacharis. The Rebbe says, God bless this Rebbe, without them, we wouldn't have these stories. He says, what was that about? He says, what does a father do right after he marries his daughter? Goes home and gushes his wife about everything he did. Isn't that good? Isn't it gushed? Gushed to me. That's our brand education. That's our brand of therapy. That's out of the box thinking and healing our minds. Nobody would ever think that. Except the Bishop's Rebbe. Bishop's Rebbe and you. You brought the Shem. That's last. Take nights. Lots of clothes. Show it up. It's a show. For the children, sometimes that Hashem Zalman said, also the Chanukh, you can't be Mechanech, back off. Sometimes there's no communication. We look at someone and we judge him by his religious garb and he speaks in perfect English. It's endless what your job is all about. There are no limitations. No limitations. That's not yes, I'm all keep your eye on that number. Because through your uprightness, I made a similar to this.